How's everybody doing today? This is Chuck from Mining with Uncle Chuck. I hope you're well. Yes, I have got miners all over this building, projects galore going on, but what can I say? It is a great day to be a crypto miner or just an investor in general in crypto, man. The market the last 48 hours or so has been absolutely banging. It's up, it's down. Let's take a look at it. I mean, right now we're sitting, Bitcoin is hovering around that 67,000. Ethereum's up, Doge is up. I tell you, and what about these? I was just talking about them a couple weeks ago. Antminer K7s, CKB miners, these things are ridiculously profitable at the moment. And obviously, our L7s are absolutely banging. Hang on, crypto miners. We are going to be in for a ride. Damn, I got to get these things back in the room. I've got a couple of boxes on the packing table, and we are going to crack these momentarily, and we're definitely going to be using what's inside. But what we're going to do in today's episode is I've got inside the mining room here, I have got an IceRiver KS3 Kaspa miner here, and I've actually had this thing for a while. I picked it up kind of the end of last year, but just before I went away on holiday, so I didn't have a chance to kind of do an unboxing or anything. So what we're going to do today in this video is we're going to kind of take a look at the factory hash rate out of this thing. Then I'm going to flash it with Tswift's paid overclocks, and then we're going to crack those boxes on the table and do some modifications to this thing. So hang in. So I'm going to do away with the official unboxing, and we're just going to crack these things and find out what's inside. We have the Fruition Designs Found Shroud kit for the IceRiver KS3, and I would like to thank John from Fruition Designs for sending this to me. I was hoping to get around to doing the video a little sooner. And next to it, I purchased the AC Infinity S8 fan. This is actually very similar to its much larger brother here that we are using on the intake for the mining room. Let's dive in. We're gonna get into that dashboard. The first thing we're gonna do is look at the factory hash rate of this IceRiver KS3. Then I'm gonna flash it with Tswift's paid overclocks, and we're gonna kind of push it and see what we get out of it before it gets too hot. And then lastly, we are going to install the Fruition Design Shroud kit in the AC Infinity fan and see what we can get out of the miner at that point in time. All right, so hang in.
Warning. Anytime you alter your miner from its original factory state, you risk the chance of voiding your factory warranty and/or just effing the damn thing up, so be careful. Okay, so I'm logged into the dashboard of my IceRiver KS3. The thing's been up and mining for almost 24 hours. Longer than that, actually. I just moved it over to its own pool account so we could take a look at profitability. Now, consistently, our hash rate has been above 8 terahash. As we can see, 8.4, just over 8, 8.1. Our temperatures have been great, 16 Celsius here, 44 Celsius. Now, I will mention this, my mining room is a little cooler than usual, so that will definitely play a part as we get into it here. So the next step is we are going to flash the miner with Tswift's paid overclock. So if you choose to purchase them from Tswift, he'll send them to you via Telegram like he did with me. And it is a larger file. What I did is I just saved that file to my Google Drive and then downloaded it to my desktop. When you do that, you want to unzip it and then open the file. It's going to look like this. We're going to see 3 different files inside and a README. So we'll quickly open the README file. Major warning, this firmware is only available for authorized devices. And then the firmware is available in 3 versions, 8.3T, 8.6T, and 8.8T. Now, one of the things we're going to have to take into consideration is we are going to have limitations from the actual IceRiver KS3 power supply. So every time we flash a new version of the firmware, we are going to have to check the wattage at the wall. So we're going to first start off with the 8.3T file. It doesn't actually say which is which, but I'm assuming that it's this 8.26 5G file. So we'll minimize this. We'll come over here to the left to our dashboard of our miner. We're going to click on select file. Open up the folder where obviously we know the firmware is, and here is our 826 5G file, and click open. Next thing you want to do is click update. Now we're just going to leave it for a second. It said operation succeeded. We'll click on OK, confirm, restart the mining machine, and we're going to click OK. Operation succeeded. We're going to click OK again. Now we just got to be patient, and I'm going to kind of time lapse this a bit, but it's probably going to take about 2 minutes, possibly 3 minutes here. So I'll come back with you. Okay, I've just refreshed in the taskbar. I left the miner about 2.5 minutes. And as you can see, we are logged back into our IceRiver KS3. We are successful because we see Tswift's little promo over here on the left. We already have an accepted share. So I'm just going to leave the miner and I'm going to come back with you one more time. Okay, so I've left my IceRiver up in mining for about 19 minutes, almost 20 minutes here. And we're sitting at about 8,500 gigahash. Again, that could stabilize a little bit more. Now, our temperatures are about the same, but our fans have ramped up, obviously, understandably so. I am going to check that power consumption at the wall and see where we're sitting wattage-wise.
Okay, so to calculate our wattage at the wall, we take these two numbers, times them together, which is our voltage, time amperage, and that gives us, we are sitting at 3,495 plus watts with the 3.3 terahash file on our IceRiver KS3.
So we are ready to move on to the next file, which is going to be the 8.6 terahash file. Going to be the same process as the 8.3. We're going to come over to the left, click on firmware upgrade, select file, and we are going to use the 8530G file. Click on it, click open. Same process as before. We're going to click on update, and I'm just going to allow it to do its thing. So the miner has rebooted. We don't have hash rate yet, but I'm just going to leave it up in mine overnight, and we'll come back and take a look at it after it's been up in mining and we've had solid hash rate for a while. Okay, so I've left this thing up in mine for another 24 hours almost here. I didn't get a chance to get around to it today, but our hash rate has been pretty rock solid, just under that 9 terahash, and our heats have been good as well. But last night before I left, I ended up ramping up the intake fan and the exhaust fan of the mining room because I was worried about it potentially overheating. So before we can move on to that next file, all the way to the 8.8 terahash file, I'm going to want to make sure I'm going to head downstairs to the mining room and check our actual wattage at the wall to make sure that we're okay. As I said, we only have so much headroom with the actual factory power supply, so we'll do that now.
Okay, same spiel. Amps times volts gives us 3,616 watts approximately at the wall with the 8.6 terahash file on our KS3. Now, this is a situation, if this mining room heated up more and those factory fans ramped up, that's going to increase this wattage. So I am not going to push it beyond this. But once we remove those factory fans to install the Fruition Designs factory Shroud kit in the AC Infinity fan, that is going to reduce the load on the actual factory power supplies. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead anyway and flash the 8.8 terahash file, and we're going to look and see where we are wattage. So let's do it.
Okay, we've got the 8.8 terahash file on the KS3. Been up and mining for about 24 minutes, and we're sitting again around that 9,000 gigahash. Our heats are absolutely fine, but as mentioned, my mining room is actually fairly cool at the moment. Now, what I'm going to do is run downstairs one more time, and we're going to take a look at what our power consumption is at the wall. As I mentioned already, we're sitting at over that 3,600 watts, above that 80% rule on a 30 amp breaker. So I do anticipate with this firmware, the 8.8 terahash, that we're going to be a bit above that. So let's check that out and we'll take it from there.
Okay, we have got the 8.8 terahash file on here, and obviously, as we expected, 3,729 watts at the wall. So absolutely not safe. So I am going to power down the miner, and we are going to start the process of installing the Fruition Design Shroud kit along with the AC Infinity fan. Let's do it. So I have the directions out here, and I'm just kind of thumbing through them as well. I have a package. These are the fan spoofers. We'll talk about that in a minute. Package of screws, screwdriver, and the kit comes with 2 different manifolds. Why is that? Well, the IceRiver, the KS3, has 2 different power supplies it could potentially ship with. Mine has 2 fans. There is a 3-fan version, hence the 2 manifolds. So this one I can put away, and obviously going to be using this one here. So I'm going to put my camera on a tripod, and then we'll start this thing. So the first thing we need to do is to get this top cover off. I've already gone ahead and remove the screws. So you want to remove this one here and this one here, the two top screws, and the same on the back side. Once you do that, we'll just kind of carefully slide up the lid, put that off, take that off, and then we need to remove the actual fans themselves. So now we're gonna unplug the factory fans from the control board. So what we wanna do is simply here, just gently wiggle. These are the two front fans here. And we'll pull those away, and then you'll see that there's two back here. We'll do the same. These ones are fairly loose. Sometimes the Bitmain Antminers are really stiff and there's a little clip on them. These ones come out fairly easy. So why are we doing this? Well, obviously, we are going to take this package here. We'll open it in a minute. These are the actual fan spoofers. Obviously, if we were to fire the miner up, it would detect that there was no fans and would not boot up properly. So we'll take these out in a minute. So there will be 4 fan spoofers that actually come with the kit. And what you want to do carefully is to break them apart. They are attached. So we'll take those ones apart. We'll take these ones apart here as well too, gently. Now you'll have 4 pieces, and we are gently going to slide them in like so. And you will see the red part of the circuit board on this side. And we'll do this the same with the other one here. Again, very gently. Make sure they slide in properly. And then we will do the back ones. Sorry, I had to just jiggle this one a little bit here. Okay, I've got that one in, and same thing, we've got one more to put in here at the back. That is it. We have the fan spoofers that are in, and the next step is we're gonna obviously pull out these fans, which we'll do now. So pretty simple. We just take our screwdriver and unscrew all the screws on the front. I've already gone ahead and done that, loosened them all up. Simply pull them all out like so. Oh, forgot about this one down here at the bottom. And that's it. We've got these fans. We'll sit them aside, and then we'll flip the mine around, and we'll do the same for the back side. I'll just go ahead and loosen these up. We'll go same thing. It took a little bit of a finesse to kind of get these top ones disconnected. I didn't want to take the top off the power supply, but if you're careful, you kind of jiggle them here and pull them through, and then up they will come out. And same thing, I've got all of these screws are all loosened up, so we'll just remove them. And there we go. We've got all the fans off. Now we will move on to the next step. So what you want to do is flip your miner over into the side like I have it here, and we want to remove all of these 8 screws. Now once you do, you'll see this one that I have here, the fan's kind of flopping around inside, but the actual directions say that this is okay. So I'm going to kind of go ahead and remove them all. So we've got all of the screws out of the power supply, our manifolds here. Go into the screw kit and pull out 4 of the coarse thread screws here. I don't know if you can see that. And we're gonna go ahead and install this thing. So we've got the manifold on, I've snugged up the screws, we're ready to move forward. So what I decided to do is to flip the miner up so that the control board is facing you, and the top that you would put in your Ethernet cable here, as it's easier to line the screws up, I've found. So you wanna grab the piece of the Shroud kit that kind of has this little opening on the one side, because this is gonna go over here. So once you do that, you can kind of push down, and you're gonna wanna go into that screw pack and grab another 4 screws, but instead of using the coarse thread, you are going to use the fine thread. So I'm gonna go ahead and we'll screw these in. Okay, these ones are snugged up. Now we have another 4 screws in here, but I'm gonna flatten this out. Last thing we wanna do is go dropping screws inside. So we are gonna put it down this way, get this last one in there, and then we are going to snug them all up. And I think that pretty much has it. Okay, let's move on. All right, we're almost at the final step. We're gonna grab our AC Infinity fan with the logo on the opposite side. If your miner's sitting like this, now I have kept the top cover off just in case we have any issues. I wanna test the miner, and then if everything's okay, then I'll put the top cover back on. And I'm gonna install the fan in the mining room. It'll just be easier to move around. Now I wanted to make mention something about the AC Infinity fan, depending on the model. This is the S8, but this here is where you are going to plug in the fan on this model and onto the other side. And the directions says that we should run the actual fan at about 3/4 speed to make sure that everything is working okay before we fire the miner up. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Okay, so I've got this thing into the mining room and I have powered up the AC Infinity fan. No issues, it's sucking. Now afterwards I'll go ahead, put the clamp on here, tighten it down, and as I mentioned, I'll put that cover back on. So let's get this thing powered up. I gotta come around this side to get to the power switch, and we'll flick it. Looks like we have lights, that's a good thing. We'll head back to the dashboard, log into this thing, and make sure everything is up and running.
So we're logged back into the dashboard of our IceRiver KS3. I've left it up in mine for 2 days. I wanted to get that kind of real true solid hash rate, and we have been consistently above that 9,000 gigahash. Our temperatures are fine, no issues there at all. And obviously this is with the Fruition Designs fan shroud kit and the AC Infinity fan. Now we've done fairly in-depth testing today, so let's just take a quick look back where we're at. So we started off with the factory firmware, and we're sitting consistently around that 8,300 gigahash, and we had it up in mining for 22 hours. So number 2, we flashed it with Tswift's 8.3 terahash firmware file. We were looking at 3,495 watts at the wall, give or take, and approximately 8,500 gigahash. Now we left that up in mining only about 19 minutes, so that definitely could have improved there. Thirdly, we moved on to the 8.6 terahash file, or we were sitting at 8,975 gigahash, 24 hours of testing, and 3,616 watts at the wall. Then we went ahead and flashed the 8.8 terahash file with the factory fans. We kind of blew that wattage out of the wall, 3,729 watts. Obviously, it's not safe to run the miner this way. You've well exceeded the limitations of the factory power supply and the 30 amp breaker. Now lastly, we have the IceRiver KS3 again with the 8.8 terahash file, but modified with the Fruition Design fan shroud kit and the AC Infinity fan. So we are looking at approximately 9,100 gigahash, really close to it. Again, we've been mining for a couple days with this thing, and 3,633 watts at the wall. And temperatures have been solid on this thing, 3/4 speed on our AC Infinity fan. If you decide that you want to go down the paid overclock route, I'll put Tswift's contact information down below. Tell them Chuck sent you. I'm not getting paid anything. I'm just forwarding that information along to you. Now, I think you can get away with that 8.6 terahash file if you don't want to go through the modification and add the Fruition Designs fan shroud and the AC Infinity fan, because you're sitting at that 3,616 watts. But, and this is the big but here, you're gonna have to watch your heats, because as I said before, my mining room was fairly cool. If you put that into a hot room, your factory fans are gonna ramp up. You're gonna increase that wattage of the wall, and you might not be in a safe range. So you're definitely gonna wanna take that into consideration. Now, what about buying one of these? Well, try to buy anything Kaspa right now, or anything miner-wise, at least with the top profit-wise miners. Well, let's take a look quickly over at Crypto Miner Bros, and they have very little in stock when it comes to IceRiver. Here is our KS3. The thing is, I saw these in stock last week at the $13,999. And you know what? Just a couple months ago or so, we were looking at it, and this IceRiver KS3, honestly, in my opinion, wasn't that attractive at the price point. You know, really, you look at the KS3M, and that was the more popular choice, probably the bigger bang for your buck. But look today, $10,299 for an in stock. Yeah, if you want to wait till the end of the month, down to $7,799. But still, prices straight across the board. And if you're going to compare, say, the IceRiver KS3 to something like the Bitmain Antminer KS3, like, I mean, take a look at the prices today out of stock. The 8.2 terahash model used to be the same price as the IceRiver KS3. What we thought wasn't the best deal in the past, well, the IceRiver KS3 really isn't looking that bad. Now, I have heard that IceRiver is going to be producing more of these things, but who knows knows what the price point is going to be when we see them again. Now, all in all, I think the IceRiver KS3 is a solid miner. If you factor in those paid overclocks, you're close to 9,000 gigahash without any modification, assuming you watch your heats. We did the comparison against some of the other models today based on the price point that I know that these were selling for last week. Even 2 weeks ago, I would have recommended the IceRiver KS3M all day long over this. I think the key factor is going to be is in the next few weeks, we watch to see what they come in at to make that kind of final decision. If you choose you want to purchase one of these things or any miner, I'm going to put some discount codes down below. There's one there for Crypto Miner Bros, as well as IceRiver directly. Keep in mind with IceRiver, you are going to have to pay the taxes on top, and they will deflate the prices for custom purposes, so take that into consideration. And if you want to purchase the Fruition Designs Fan Shroud kit, I've got a 15% off coupon down below. And thanks again to John from Fruition Design for sending me the kit. Much appreciated. Anyway, that's it for today's episode. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. You like the video. We're going to see you again real soon. Peace out.